Well, Jordan Love, what? He only had one pick the last 8 games of the season last year until the Niners game.
Yeah,
Well,
he
he
really
kind of
played well.
choked that one away, but to that point, he was doing really well. There's, I mean, we'll talk this more, but their schedule's kind of soft, so we'll see. I'm not even logged into Twitch anymore. This fucking thing is so screwed up, and I can't get a code to log in. Oh, there we go. It's so stupid. All right, I'll figure that part out later. I'm logged back in. Okay. Oh, he's got the intro music on. Oh, we can hear us. Never mind, we're in there too. No, we forgot to do our picks. We had to do them this week. See, he's doomerizing. We still have time. We still have time.
This is amazing.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't hear you on your stream.
Oh, wait. Alright, never mind, I got it. Alright, that's one less thing to worry about. Let's jump right into this bit.
Yeah, I hear you on the stream now.
I have not logged in. Yeah, it's still the same. I haven't changed it.
Well, it's rebranded. You know, Davis the Cut's still relatively new. It was a really, really low passing yard week. I think the average passing yards was like 168 or something. I'll have to go back and check, but man, it was low. Um, so no training camps. I mean, no preseason. 185 was the average. The only 300-yard passer this week was Tua. Caleb was the low end at 93. We'll talk about all that, but yeah, low passing yards. What do you think, Davis?
Yeah, I'd say NFL defenses are definitely catching up. To add to that as well, it kind of seems like it's the same old for a lot of teams. Maybe new faces, different places for some, but the top teams still look pretty solid to me. There wasn't really an upset, maybe besides the Bengals. We can talk about that, but historically they've been bad on opening day.
I was really hoping Aubrey on the Cowboys would try that 72-yarder. He walked down the field. I was like, oh man, I really want to see this. And then they kind of wussed out. Is this, by the way, is this schedule that's behind us? That's last year, right? I think so. Right? Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. I see it now. Okay, I see it. You're right. My bad. I can't. I can't hear you again.
Yeah, I changed it in one scene, but I guess I had to change it in this scene as well. So my whole intro was for nothing. That is what we call a fumble on the first drive of the game.
It was a long off season for us too. Gotta get back in game shape.
Well, I don't feel like repeating any of it. Moral of the story: we're back. We're better than ever. We're here to talk football, talk shit, and talk fantasy football. That being said, you guys want to jump right into it?
Sure.
Where do we want to start?
Probably the first game. I think that's yours, Davis, right? The Chiefs Ravens.
Chiefs Ravens, yeah. We can start there. um Overall pretty close game. Really came down to the wire there. With the Ravens kind of missing out on that last second pass to Likely, with time expiring. Really close call too. I thought they were just gonna give it to him, but good call by the refs. His foot was on the line or the back end of the end zone. Statistically, kind of seemed like Lamar from the Ravens, back to his old self. 16 carries for 122 yards, about slightly above 50% completion percentage for passing. I don't know. It kind of seemed like he came into the season, lost a lot of weight, and it kind of just seemed like he's back to his old form. Didn't really stay in the pocket that much. It kind of seemed like he was looking to, as after his first option was covered, he was looking to kind of make a play. It could just be the Chiefs' defense as well, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have done a better job in the passing game, but I think that's always the story with the Ravens. On the Chiefs, they look pretty solid. Pretty standard game from them. Don't think Travis Kelce really had a big game for the Chiefs. Just 3 yards or 3 receptions for 34 yards. Rashee Rice led the way with 7 for 103, and then Patrick Mahomes. Just pretty standard performance from them, but overall, great way to start opening day for the season. Chiefs looking to three-peat this year, so we'll see if they can do that. But yeah, I think both teams will be in the hunt for the playoffs for sure. But yeah, pretty standard game overall. What do you guys think?
Sure, sure. I threw that video in there of the likely touchdown, by the way, if you want to throw it up. But no, I agree with everything you said. I mean, it's kind of funny because I don't think Mahomes had a great game, and then you look at his stats; it's still 290 yards. That's how good he is, right? It's crazy. No, you kind of covered everything. I do think that I'm not really as sold on Pacheco this year, and I think he's kind of been riding just being Mahomes. When you watch this live, I thought it was good, but obviously it was a good call that he was out of bounds, like you said, Davis. But man, it was tight. And likely, so we're watching this play. 9 for 11. It's a shallow position, right? He's a second tight end. Adrian's not having a particularly good game, but if you look at the analysis of it, it's because he was being bracketed coverage and likely was kind of free almost the whole time. So, but I mean, I would pick him up, but I'm sure would you guys agree? Like, likely is maybe low end tight end 1. I mean, it's a weak position.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth the stash.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead,
Andrews
Swayze.
will get his production back as the season goes on. We all know he was in that car crash right before the season started, so they were taking it easy on him. But I think with what Likely showed right now, I mean, he's more than made his argument on being able to split reps for the rest of the season.
Yeah, great. I think the big fantasy question, though, is Xavier Worthy. Obviously, the Chiefs used that first round pick on him. You know, Andy Reid's going to get creative. I mean, he had 20.5 PPR fantasy points, 2 touchdowns. He only was on the field for 4 plays. Are you sticking with him? Are you selling high? Are you playing him? I mean, what do you guys think? Is this... what do you think about Mr. Worthy?
I think going forward with what the Chiefs have offensively, yeah, you have Rashee Rice. He's probably going to be your target hog. But I mean, we're essentially, we all know we're looking at another mini Tyreek Hill. What the Chiefs offense last season was a speedster, and they found him. He doesn't have to get many touches, but Patrick Mahomes is smart enough to know that when he's open, he's got easy big chunks. I think throughout the season, he's not going to have the most receptions, but when he does, he's just going to chunk it up the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I don't think I'd play him yet, like you said, but certainly keep him around. And you mentioned Rice, by the way. He was really underdrafted in fantasy leagues all offseason. I drafted him for you in the Dynasty League, by the way, Davis. And I'm a big fan of, obviously, this is about fantasy production, not real life, whatever. But I don't think he's going to get suspended this season. His court date is not week 14, so we'll see on that one. To me, Rashee Rice is a wide receiver too, and should be started every single week until he gets suspended. Because if you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, and you're his number 1 target, he's kind of the he's kind of like the Michael Thomas in that system. I think it's a good comparison. He kind of just runs slants. That's what he does. But if you got Mahomes throwing to you, you're going to get the ball. And he had a couple of ridiculous moves in space, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you kind of covered it all. I am a little bit worried about Lamar. His stat line at the end was fine, but he was rough. That offensive line looks awful. That looks like a really bad offensive line. So, but aside from that, I think you covered everything. What do you think, Swayze?
I think we're glossing over the one key fact that the first NFL touchdown of 2024 belonged to the king himself. And yes, he is back. John Harbaugh already confirmed that he's not going to be getting 30 touches like he was used and abused in Tennessee, but he's definitely going to be at least your goal line running back, and he'll definitely take the edge off Lamar Jackson a little bit. So going forward, if you drafted Derrick Henry, I know he fell to like 3rd, 4th rounds in a lot of leagues. He is not a bad pick, and he's definitely going to have steady production all season, in my opinion.
It is pretty low, Yoda.
Yeah, I'm working on everything. I haven't streamed in like 6 months, so I have to redo all my settings, which is, as some of you might have noticed, I'm not on screen.
More like Sway's ghost, am I right?
All right.
let's keep going.
Please. All right.
Should I talk about Bills Cardinals?
Yeah. Go ahead. This one was a fun game for me personally.
Oh, it was a great game. I threw a couple clips in there too. First off, the Cardinals were kind of a popular upset pick this week. The Bills are kind of reformulated, and I get it, but they got up early. The strategy in this game by the Cardinals was to run the football and play prevent defense, and it worked for a while. But then the Bills kind of realized they were just running up down their throats. 17-3 quickly turned into 28-17 real fast. Ended, of course, 38-24. Kyler looked really good early on. I think that if you're looking at it from a real-life perspective, he really was good in scramble mode, and then really targeted Greg Dortch, who was kind of this conversation piece this year on the training camp. I think this is like his 4th year at Richmond. So they're clearly trying to get him the ball as kind of this the slot guy in space. I don't know if it was a plan or if Taron Johnson went down or something, but either way, Dortch probably should be in every fantasy team at least. I wouldn't start him, but he's like a good bye week fill-in. Some kind of wide receiver 4, I guess. Davis, Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 targets, 1 catch. He was on the field for 33 routes. That would be the worst yards per route in NFL history. That's tracked, by the way. Are you scared? Are you still starting him?
Personally, as high as he went in a lot of fantasy drafts, I'd probably bench him. We'll put him as a flex for now. I don't know. I mean, it's tough because the Bills' defense is pretty solid. They are getting up there in age, however, but I don't know. It's just a very small sample size. It's his first game as a rookie. There's always room for improvement. Kyler Murray didn't look too bad in this game. As long as he's healthy and down the road, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd be cautious. I think it's something to look at. See what the trend is moving forward. But I'd still start him. Put him at the flex though, more than anything. Wide receiver 2 or 3.
I think that's fair.
Just trying to.
Maddie.
Sway's with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still messing with stuff. Yeah, no, I'll be one of the first to admit James Conner has been looking really good in the last couple seasons.
He really has.
I took him for a bum after he left Pittsburgh, and he is from what I've seen last season, this season, he's a lot better than what I give him credit for. So, yeah, I mean, if you got him, I know he probably set at least to the 2nd or 3rd round in a lot of leagues. If you got him, I would definitely ride with him. Kyler Murray, like you guys said, he's in fight or flight mode. He's still trying to figure out his offense, especially with all the time he's missed with injury. But I mean, I think there's a little bit of upside. I drafted him in one league as a sort of redemption arc after he screwed me over a couple years ago. But I mean, as soon as him, Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison Jr. start clicking a little bit more, I think this Cardinals offense has a bit of upside. They'll probably still miss the playoffs, maybe squeak in the last wild card, but I mean, definitely a lot better than what they've been looking like lately.
Yeah, agreed. And also, I posted that video in there. The first ever dynamic kick return touchdown. We didn't do any preseason chain gang, but man, this thing is kind of cool. I remember watching this in XFL where they have the little zone and you can land it with the blockers. It kind of helps with injuries. So I was wondering how many teams would do it, and the Cardinals posted that video. They finally were able to do one. It's kind of cool to see that work out. And they almost, at that point it was 11-point game, so it was almost a momentum factor. So, I mean, David, you're probably a Devin Hester fan back in the day. It'd be cool to see the kick return come back a little bit into vogue and help teams.
I mean, yeah, it was week 1, and DJ Dallas already ran it to the house, and then who was the player that ran the punt return for a touchdown yesterday as well?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that did happen. Special teams are back, baby. Well, who's also back is Josh Allen. Team is definitely built differently this year, guys. He only had 6 passes in the first half. He completed all 6 of them. He was also strip sacked. Typical Josh Allen experience. Comes with it. But he was ridiculous in the second half yesterday. 4 touchdowns. I think he had 170 of his yards in the second half. Also, 30 yards rushing. 2 touchdowns. James Cook and you've been a big fan of him all day. He had a really good game, 71 yards. He was probably better than that. It just feels like they kind of, when they're in the red zone, Josh Allen just runs it in. It's sort of rude. But Cook did a lot of work, and he looks really good. From a receiver perspective on the Bills, it's going to be one of those things that there's no Diggs on this team anymore. You're just going to have to guess. Coleman, the rookie, looked pretty good. Second-round pick. Had a great over-the-shoulder catch. Oh, by the way, one of Allen's touchdowns, and I posted that link in there too, Dave, Sways. He did like a flip type thing, like a Madden leap, like a Heisman leap type thing. Was really cool. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think if there's one receiver you probably want is Shakir, like a wide receiver 4. They kind of use him like an Edelman in that role. But either way, it's going to be, you're going to kind of be rolling dice in the Bills, unless you have Cook or Allen. I think as somebody that has Kincaid in a lot of leagues, though, boy, 1 catch for 11 yards. That is not what I expected in fantasy from the second-year corner first-round pick. But shallow position. You don't really have much of a choice. Oh yeah, he queued them all up. Queued them all up here.
Oh yeah, I got time since no one can see me. Let's see. So here's was a kickoff return by DJ Dallas. Was a 96-yard, I think they called it. I mean, you could tell as soon as he hit the 50-yard line, he was gassed.
Oh yeah. I love that landing zone too, and I'm surprised more teams aren't kicking in there. I understand maybe it's a challenge, but you don't want to put the ball to 30. That's really stretching it. Turpin, yeah, that was Turpin. You're right, Bonkai.
I'll have to look for it again to see if I can find it, but
since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about the Bills Cardinals. You guys anything else you want to add?
Our old detergent.
No. Josh Allen looked pretty good in the second half. Really, really good in the second half. But like you said, it's part of the experience. I don't know. I kind of like the Cardinals this season. We'll see how things go. I think they have the potential to be a wild card team, but we'll see.
It's Jennifer Coolidge. And I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special.
Go ahead, Swayze.
It really inspired me.
now are you picking anybody up fantasy-wise for the
Well, I'm
Bills
doubling everything
at
now.
this point?
Double
You already
dating,
said
double dipping,
Stephon Diggs
double
is out.
feature,
There's no
double
clear
header,
number 1 at
double
this point,
whammy.
but
Basically double
I
or
mean,
nothing.
if you're in
We match. Discover.
if you're in a
Cashback
league
Match.
10-man or
See
under,
terms
I
at
don't feel like you're touching anything on the Bills right now, other
I
than
think-
Josh Allen.
I think Shakir should be 100% out. I legitimately do. Because the way they kind of use him on every play, and all 3 catches were in the second half, and his touchdown was great too. He broke like 3 or 4 tackles. He was the guy down the stretch last year. He was the one that replaced Diggs, kind of. I would, your bye weeks are long. His stats might not be too sexy. He did have a touchdown yesterday, but I would have Shakir on my team as a wide receiver 4 or 5 because you're going to need that kind of depth. But yeah, Coleman, no. maybe. Well, our 20-man league aside, that's what he said. That's a whole other thing. That's not. Obviously, all these players are on that team, but. Do you guys buy Dortch as well, or am I crazy?
I mean,
Dortch is worth the stash.
yeah. I mean, if you can
Definitely
pick, I mean, if you have the roster space, it's not bad to pick up a sleeper here or there. I mean, you never know as the season progresses. So, I mean, there could be upside, but I thought the same thing of the tight end from Las Vegas last year.
Oh yeah, Michael
Mayers. Yeah, Michael Mayers. I thought he was going to do a lot better, and turns out Las Vegas just needed to wait a year to pick up Brock Bowers.
Yeah. You want to stick with divisions? Who has Jags? Wait, was that me too?
Now I got the
No.
Jags.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So this was actually a lot closer game than I would have thought. Coming into this game, I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to struggle. Beginning of the year, Pretty Boy doesn't really care. He's got his money, but he's going to show up anyways. But yeah, I mean, the Dolphins ended up just squeaking by at the last second on this one. Trevor Lawrence, not too great. 12 for 21, 162 yards. He rushed once for 8 yards. He had one touchdown. I think the biggest thing that hurt him was ETN. I don't think anyone expected for him to come out, and I don't know if it was just week one struggles. I don't know if the fumble he had early in the game kind of threw him off his stride, or if they lost confidence in him. But he didn't. He was definitely held in check quite a bit.
That fumble lost them the game. That was one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen. They were up 17-7, and he just had a wide open walk to the end zone. He just gets stripped, and then they get the ball, and then it gets in the end zone, and then the very next play, Tyreek Hill 80-yard touchdown. 17. It goes from 20. What was that? That would have been 24-7 to 17-14 in 2 plays. He choked. He choked. He's not a good player. I don't mean it like. I have certain guys that I don't like. I think Travis Etienne is not a good football player. If you're a first-round running back and this is what you're known for, being a scrub with plays like this, I don't understand it. And Tank Bigsby looked pretty good. Anyway, I don't see your thunder. This is mind-boggling. They would have won the game, 17-7.
Yeah, it's rough. He had a clear shot at the end zone. Great punch. Not taking anything away from the defender. He just landed that punch right in there. It caught Etienne sleeping on it. But yeah, you're the man on this team right now. Everyone looks towards you for these big plays. And normally, I think he gets them. He's probably still going to get the production throughout the season. But, yeah, Etienne, that was definitely a shocker. And then you also touched on Tank Bigsby a little bit. He was 12 for 73. Let's see, there's something that caught my eye here. Sticking with the Jags, Gabe Davis, the old Bills player, he didn't have a lot of receptions, but whenever he got the ball, he definitely got some chunks. He's trying to emerge as the new number one in Jacksonville. 3 for 62, no touchdowns, but also the rookie Brian Thomas Jr. He had the touchdown throw, 4 for 17. At this point, with all these receivers on the Jaguars, what do you do with Christian Kirk anymore? He was held to a lone reception for 30 yards. Given it's a nice little chunk, but at this point, is he? Unless you're in a deep league like we are, he doesn't really seem worth it at this point.
I don't know if I dump him. I certainly wouldn't play him. That's for sure.
I'd stash him on the bench. I think there's too many mouths to feed in that offense.
But that being said, we'll touch on it here in a little bit with the Colts and Texans. You can feed that many mouths just fine. It's just, is T-Law the guy to spread it out, spread the love that much? On the other side of the ball, here in the chain gang, we 100% Tua for MVP every single year, coming out here 23 for 37, 338 yards, just slinging that thing. He only had the one touchdown, of course, to Tyreek Hill, but much. I mean, he didn't look. It wasn't a pretty game, but he definitely put up stats. As weird as that sounds, only 20 points. I mean, this is the same Dolphins team that absolutely demolished the Broncos last year. So I mean, when you have stats like this, you expect definitely a higher scoring result. I mean, it wasn't just him either. I mean, the run game's starting to look all over the place too. You got Wilson 5 for 26. You got Achane, who's looking pretty strong, coming back from his lingering injury last year, 10 for 24, but he had the touchdown. And then Mostert still around 6 for 9, not too much there, but I mean they have options, and it definitely Achane is making. He's making a name for himself. I mean, he's not too productive in the run right now, but he also had 7 receptions for 76 yards. So, I mean, he's looking like an Alvin Kamara or Rashad White receiving back. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of upside with him. And then Tyreek Hill doing Tyreek things, you know, being detained right before the game, still showing up and just dropping an 80-yard touchdown like he normally does. He went before that catch. He was 6 for 50, and then that one play, that 80-yard for the touchdown, definitely saved a lot of people in fantasy football.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Waddle right behind him though. He didn't have more receptions. He only went 5 receptions, but he had 109 yards too. So, I mean, the 1-2 combo is working really well in this offense. I mean, we're going to see it's already going to be a big test this Thursday when the Bills play the Dolphins. But, I mean, the Dolphins look like they're kind of picking up where they left off last season. So, I mean, they could be a little tricky going forward. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I don't know. I think it was a decent start. They can need to clean up a little bit, but I like where the Dolphins are already at so far in the season. Let's see here. Buffalo, Seattle, Tennessee, New England, a bye week. Indy, Arizona, Buffalo again, and then LA Rams. I mean,
Soft start to season, except for the Bills this week, obviously. But I mean, you can get on a roll there. Like, obviously, the end of the season will be kind of harder. I'll let Davis talk about his favorite player, Trevor Lawrence. So I won't even start there. I'm sure Davis will talk about that. Say, like, fantasy-wise, Brian Thomas Jr., he's a first-round pick. They're going to use him. He looked better than... He was the number 1 receiver on that LSU team with Malik Neighbors, so he's a good player. So I would have him even 10-man leagues on your bench. Achane got hurt. He didn't practice today. They play Thursday night. Mostert is also hurt. So...
yeah, there's that 80-yard bomb just right around the corner.
Jeff Wilson, you mentioned... You know, if Jalen Wright...
Pick him up.
Yeah. I just want to throw some guy out there. You know, I always do this. Jalen Wright, he was inactive this week, but they did keep 4 running backs in the roster. He might be the starting running back this week. So Jalen Wright, somebody you might want to keep on your radar, somebody to pick up if you're in your thing. But yeah, that kind of covered. You kind of covered everything. Davis, you want to talk about your boy Trevor Lawrence?
I want to talk about my boy Tyreek Hill.
Oh, okay.
This man is a cheetah on and off the field. Can we talk about him getting arrested literally a block away? And the funny part is, how do you not know it's Tyreek Hill that you're arresting, first of all? Why not just give him a ticket, be on his way? But the fact that they slam him onto the pavement, Calais Campbell comes out to defend him, gets arrested as well, or gets at least handcuffed as well. It's ridiculous. But despite all that, this man is a monster. Still is able to perform. Like, we just played that 80-yard bomb from Tua. But yeah, Tyreek Hill's on another level. Trevor Lawrence, pretty mediocre game. I know he just got paid, but I mean, I have no words for this man. I don't know.
He's got to be better.
He's
I mean,
just a mid-tier quarterback. That's all he is. With all the hype coming out of high school, coming out of Clemson, He's just an average quarterback.
That being said, the video didn't show it, but his celebration, Tyreek Hill and a teammate, he put his arms behind his back like he was detaining him and walking him around. So that was a perfect way to finish that celebration.
We can do. Well, Davis, you want to go again? I don't know what I forgot.
We can stay in the South. We can do the Bears game. The Bears versus the Titans. Bears won this one strictly off of defense. Caleb Williams, all the hype coming out with him. Even first overall pick. People comparing him to a young Patrick Mahomes. Say we all slow our horses there. But 14 for 29, 93 yards. Didn't even break 100 yards, but they got the W. Mostly due to Will Levis, 2 interceptions, and towards the end of the game, a pick 6 to kind of seal it. Tony Pollard, ex-Dallas Cowboys running back, 16 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Looked pretty solid in this game. The Titans' offensive line did really well. Alvin Ridley, 3 receptions, 50 yards. I don't know, a lot of good fantasy pickups for the Titans side. Ridley, I would stash on the bench. Pollard would be a solid RB2 moving forward. Even on the Bears side, though, I don't know what you guys think about Caleb Williams moving forward. Again, first ever NFL game, first ever NFL start. It didn't look too good, but Titans defense is pretty decent as well. Rome Odunze, I believe, was injured in this game. And Keenan Allen, pretty quiet game. 4 receptions, 29 yards, but again, a lot of mouths to feed on this Bears offense. But
On 11 targets, by the way. Yikes.
I mean, personally, I have nothing against Caleb Williams. Let me put that out there. But I don't think he should have been drafted by the Bears. If you compare stats side by side between Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, with a new team, with barely any reps with the starters, outperformed him in every category. Let me pull this back up just for you, Maddie. Caleb Williams, 14 for 29, 64 yards, averaged 3.2 an attempt, 55.7 QBR rating, rushed 5 times for 15 yards. Justin Fields, 17 for 23, so more completions, 6.8 yards per attempt, 91.9 QBR, 14 rushes for 57 yards. So I don't think Idaho's here, but he pretty much hit it right on the nose when he said Caleb Williams looked like Fields without the rushing upside. Yeah, it's his first game, but when you have that much hype against you, you're expected to show up. You have, except for the offensive line, you have everything you need to succeed on this team. Your defense bailed you out, which they can't do every year, or every season, or every week, I should say. You have Keenan Allen, who's old, but if you can actually get him the ball, he will give you production. DJ Moore, as we all saw last year under Justin Fields, can be a star. Cole Kmet showed a whole lot of upside last season because of the same thing. And DeAndre Swift, I mean, he's kind of hit or miss. I think it's hard to get running going whenever you have the worst offensive line in the game. But that being said, I feel like instead of getting Caleb Williams, you should have worked on your O-line during the draft and let this man ball out like he should have this year.
I'm not going to debate Justin Fields. I'm done talking about Justin Fields. He's not a good quarterback. All right, we're not going to do this. He looks at one time. We'll talk about the Steelers game later. Anyway. It's one game, guys. Let's chill on the. It's one game. He plays the Texans this week. It should be better outing. He did not play well, though. He did not play well. Will Levis, though, played terrible. This clip we're about to see, this is one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. What is he doing? Like, what are you doing here? You... Tremont, he played one game. We just lost. And other thing. Anyway. So yeah, the Bears went off defense, but just that being said, the Bears defense has been really good. It was actually one of the best defenses by the end of the year last year. You're not thinking that you're going to score a lot of points with your fantasy players if you're playing against the Bears defense. It's just kind of the way that it goes now. I don't want anybody on the Bears receiving core right now until they figure it out, except for maybe DJ Moore. Running back wise, Swift. I don't really understand why they signed him. And yeah, you mentioned it, Dave, was Tony Pollard. That kind of covers this whole game. Look, you guys are gonna be positive. I think I think he's gonna be a fantastic player, and I'm excited to see what Moore can do. So,
I mean, give it 2 more years and he'll be right where Justin Fields is. But
If that's the case, that's going to be actually insane. We talked about cursed franchises earlier before the stream. The Bears might just be a cursed franchise, guys. I think the days of hoping and wishing are kind of over.
yeah, I mean, Alan Lazard pass from Tyrod Taylor. What did I just miss?
Is Rodgers out?
It might have been a trick play, but that notification definitely just threw me off.
We need this 2-point conversion to happen. We need this to come on. That's the only way we can win. Come on, Tyrod. That's a flag. No! Damn it! We're gonna lose by half a point. We lost by half a point, Davis.
That's fantasy football for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Ma, you win some, you lose some.
Let's talk about something that the Panthers lost. That's their future, because Bryce Young is awful, and I will take the L on this one. I did not expect this to be. I think a lot of people, I know he was undersized, but he looks terrible. I threw a clip there. He had 2 interceptions, and they really don't tell the story about everything because his passes were sailing. He could not find an open receiver at all. I'll post probably a clip somewhere else too that shows all his highlights. He was just terrible. I know you're looking for it right now, but the second interception was, so first off, his first pass sails over the guy's head. His very first pass of the season is a pick. Okay, fine. Early jitters. And then the Saints proceed to just whip the Panthers' ass up and down the field and go up 17 points, and he still can't get anything going all the time. I feel bad for the guy, but if you're the top pick like that, you cannot be that terrible. Look, watch this interception. What? Have you seen this yet, Davis? This is so bad. And they're already down 33, so who cares, right? But, dude, what are you doing? What is that? You're a professional quarterback. He's throwing to the Saints DB.
I think the issue is, and I'm not sure if this is like a COVID thing or what, but I feel like people are just rushing brand new QBs into the league and expecting them to be Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow within the first 2 years, and that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah.
I think the days of wait, hold on. I think the days of that expedited growth from QBs is over. I think it's going to be, unless we have a once-in-a-generation talent, or a couple, like we had, like I had those quarterbacks I just mentioned, I don't think it's going to be a situation where we're going to see somebody who just explodes onto the scene within the first 2 years. It's going to take some time for people to develop and get acclimated to the league.
Well,
We might go back to the days where it's like, we'll have a rookie quarterback, but they'll sit for a year or two, develop, and then put them in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Davis, you made a great point. A lot of these a lot of these generational talents, as everyone's calling them, they're not going to bad teams. Patrick Mahomes was already he was going to a playoff contender. He was just filling in for Alex Smith, and he did have that sit time to mold and to kind of get a feel for things. Same thing for Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love's kind of in the same boat, but not nearly to the same level, and he makes bad throws. So yeah, I mean, you get lucky with, C.J. Stroud. Everyone thought that was a dead franchise. He comes back and revitalizes everything. I mean, but it just doesn't happen.
No, you're right, and just to, I think the reason for that is just because that second QB contract is so big, guys, that it's just they need to see it immediately because they're going to give the guy what. I mean, we're watching Brock Purdy. He's going to get like 60 million a year next year. He's an exception, obviously, because he has far exceeded where he got drafted, etc. But at minimum, you're going to pay the guy $40 million a year. So I mean, we'll talk about Daniel Jones later.
I don't know
Your
why.
favorites, yeah. So, but But regardless, I actually feel bad for the guy. I want to see him succeed. You guys know I have a little bit of Carolina love in my heart. From a fantasy perspective, I would not touch a single player on this team until they get some kind of off-passing offense. Xavier Legette probably should be on your bench. He was their first-round pick. He did get some looks late. If Andy Dalton came in or if they figured out. But Jonathan Brooks, the rookie running back, it was the first pick. If he's somehow in your league, you got to pick him up because he will be worth something because they don't have any other talent. So he was the first running back taken in the draft, so he will get played when he comes in. He's just recovering from that really nasty knee injury. I think he'll be back week 4. So it's already week 1. You got 2 weeks. Might as well just put him in that IR. If you got an IR spot in your league, which most leagues do, he's worth that. On the Saints side, nothing much to say. Derek Carr looked fantastic. I kind of slept him all off season. I don't know why I did. That's going to be kind of a theme that I sort of missed on some guys early on, but it's week 1. I think Rashid Shaheed, he's a big deep threat guy. If you guys heard us earlier, Davis and I moaning about Chris Olave, 2 catches, 11 yards. Better days ahead. Although Swayze thinks that Carr hates him. That's fine.
He does. I mean, they had a little skiff last season where Olave was upset and gave up on a route, and Derek Carr tried to chew him out, and they had words. And I feel like ever since that moment, he tries not to look his way as much. The only reason Olave ended up on the high note last season was because Jameis Winston just likes throwing the ball really deep, and Olave was normally there.
And I mean, one more thing for fantasy on the I'll bring somebody else. I'll ask you guys in a second, but look, it's a shallow position. Taysom Hill, he had 5 carries, 35 yards in this game. He gets the goal line carries. He could be a quarterback. Tight end eligibility. It's a weak position. I make sure Taysom Hill is on a team. He might even be worth starting just because if it's a closer game, he might get something. So, but I think the big question for you guys. Alvin Kamara, 15 for 83, a touchdown. He also had his normal 5 catches, 27 yards. Are you buying this resurgence? Selling.
I'm gonna buy. From a fantasy perspective, the running back position is trash, for lack of better words, and he's going to get the volume.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's a running back. He's not a good running back, but he's definitely a receiving back. And so if you're in a PPR league, you can't just write him off. Especially with the Saints schedule going forward, you have a couple tough games with Dallas and Philadelphia, but then you got Atlanta, you have Tampa Bay later, you got Denver, Chargers, Carolina, Atlanta. I mean, you're in a weak division, so there's gonna be opportunities for big games for Kamara.
Fair. Valid. Nothing else for me to say about this game, if you guys want to add anything.
No, I mean, that's all I got. Speaking of Derek Carr, let's talk about his old team real quick. So, the Raiders and the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh's first game back to the NFL, and boy, was it a game. I don't know what he did. Well, he didn't really do a whole much, actually, because Justin Herbert didn't look too great in all reality. But he sparked something up on that team, and they did enough. Justin Herbert, 17 for 26. Like I said, nothing too great. 144 yards and a touchdown. They don't have, like, anything on this team. Keenan Allen's gone. Austin Eckler's gone. Mike Williams is gone. But, I mean, shit, they made it work. McConkey, 5 for 39 in the touchdown. Quentin Johnson, who we thought had some upside last season, 3 for 38. Hayden Hurst getting a little bit of touches, 2 for 33. But this is the thing. This is what I really want to talk about. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. The Ravens said, hey, do you guys want our leftover running backs? Chargers said, hell yeah, we do. And between these two, they rocked the boat, especially Dobbins. 10 for 135 yards and that breakout touchdown he had. Gus Edwards less efficient, 11 for 26, but damn. J.K. Dobbins looked good. I was surprised. I probably would have never drafted him again in my life. But if he's available in your leagues, I don't think this is a fluke. He's emerging as the number one back in LA. So definitely something worth picking up on. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, this is the era. Minshew Mania is back. And while the Raiders couldn't score and they had a lot of offensive troubles, Gardner Minshew can string stuff together, but he just can't finish right now. Which, new offensive coordinator, new team. That's to be fair. He's trying to do a lot more, I think, than he should because he's playing for his job as always. But 25 for 33, 257 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have that interception. Pretty ugly. But I mean, he's desperate to play, and he's gonna throw the ball around, which, I mean, you could definitely see between Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams. 3 for 61, 5 for 59. I mean, they're spreading the ball around, and then we mentioned him a little bit earlier. Brock Bowers, the first tight end picked up in last year's draft, or this year's draft, I should say. I mean, he had a good start. 6 for 58. I mean, that's seeing as how how shallow the position is. That's a good tight end. I mean, just slim chance he's still available in any league, but I mean, if you picked him up, there's definitely a lot of upside going forward in the year. Zamir White had kind of a rough start. I was expecting a lot more from him. I think a lot of people were, but he went 13 for 44. Madison still playing football, I guess. He went 5 for 19. He did get incorporated more in the pass game, so that might be something to look at as well in deeper leagues. He might be that running back with hands. So 4 catches for 43 yards. He did have that touchdown, so something to keep an eye out for, especially, like I said, if you're in deeper leagues. What'd you guys see?
It's good to see the Chargers not blowing it. I thought that'd be a fun way to blow a game, but it's Harbaugh. He just knows how to win. Ladd McConkey is still available in about 18% of ESPN leagues. It looks like 30% of Yahoo leagues. He's 100% owned. Like you said, the Chargers don't have much talent. He is the rookie wide receiver. He's kind of like I don't want to say an Edelman type because he's just a white slot player, but he's kind of that kind of player. So, the only thing I'll say is, if you have the ball on your own 43 with 7:15 left and it's 4th and 1, do not punt the ball. I mean, the other team's 43. You're down by 1. This was the most cowardly play in 25 years. The surrender index gave this a 131.7. Literally the biggest cowardly play since 1999. That's insane. So Antonio Pierce, I know he's a good rah-rah guy, but this is kind of sometimes the problem when you pick coaches that are former players, because they kind of, they rally around the team, but then they sometimes will play hyper-conservative rather than go with the analytics. And this one is moments. It's 4th and 1, you're losing, and you're at the opponent's 43. Don't punt the ball. And by the way, they punted in the end zone, so it was a 23 net yards. What do you think, Davis?
I was just looking up some stats. But I'd say it was a pretty close defensive game. Minshew didn't look too bad, but I don't know. I'm not sold on the Chargers quite yet. John Harbaugh is an upgrade compared to the last Chargers coach. His name slips my mind, but I really don't. I don't know. I need to see more out of them as far as just efficiency on offense. I know they lost Keenan Allen, but I don't know. I think the Chargers are going to be a team that's going to be interesting to watch. Defensively, I think they're going to be strong, but their offense really needs to pick it up. Also lost Austin Eckler in the offseason as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more from the Chargers. I think they're definitely an interesting team to watch this season.
I mean, if you think about it, everywhere Jim Harbaugh goes, he wins. So the Chargers have a whole lot of upside. I'm sure Justin Herbert is the most excited person on this team now ever since he got picked up.
Yeah, pretty mid game from Herbert though. Just 144 yards and a touchdown. But you guys had mentioned it too. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, great job on the ground for the Chargers. It kind of reminds me of the old, in ways you might get a kick out of this old 49ers team with Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. Just like a hard-nosed defense.
That was
hard-nosed
the
defense
era.
and run the ball.
Yeah, that Chargers front four is real. Like you're talking Bosa and
Khalil Mack, yeah.
Yeah, Mack, Puna Ford. That is a really, really good front four. So it could be a scary team. And the AFC West is not great. Aside for the Chiefs, you could.
Aside for the Chiefs, yeah.
I mean, I could talk about.
I mean,
a
front four.
A little bit.
A front four, to comment on that, a front four versus the Chiefs' offensive line, that can wreak havoc for Mahomes. I mean, it is Mahomes. The escapability is there, but I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting game on the road to watch.
I could do a quick one if you guys want. Speed us up a little bit. Not much to say about
the
Cowboys Browns. So there's not really much to say about the Cowboys except the defense is really good. Prescott was really efficient. 19-13, 179, 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb was really cooking. He had 10 targets. This game got out of hand early. I think the one thing you're worried about is Ferguson is out now. So I think Brandon Cooks is an interesting wide receiver, at least to put on the bench again, because I don't really trust the backups, tight ends on the Cowboys. And he was kind of Prescott's number 2 guy. So Cooks could be interesting again. But let me spend some time here because I've sent a highlight reel to you, Sways, on what might be the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, and that is Deshaun Watson. He was dreadful in this game. Like, I do not understand $230 million. The Browns had 49 yards on 19 plays at halftime, okay? He's the first quarterback, and this highlight reel, these are all different plays. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to go 0 for 10 on passes over 10 yards. He is not good. Obviously, nobody feels bad for the guy, whatever happened, But at this point, if you're the Browns, there has to be another option. There's no way this is your best option to win football games. Because Flacco came with his team and was putting up 400 yards with the same players. So they did lose Njoku. I don't start any Brown, none, except for Ford, who I think is actually a really good running back, like a high-end running back too. He scored a touchdown. He looked good in this game. Jerome Ford has played well for Chubb last year. Came in, and the offensive line and the Browns actually look at these. These are well blocked plays. As you watch this highlight reel, he's just a bad quarterback. We watched Deshaun Watson, guys. He did not look this bad before he went to the Browns, before the suspension. He looks terrible. Like this is amateur hour. So, I don't start any Brown except for Ford moving forward. I don't even know if I keep any of them except for maybe Cooper on the bench. Oh, and by the way, they picked up Cordarius Toney today. That's going to help. So we'll see what happens with the Browns. I actually bet on the Cowboys in this game, full disclosure. I did not believe in the Browns at home. The Browns were actually big favorites in this game, which I thought was kind of strange. 2-1. So it was kind of easy money on my end. But, yeah, I mean, Noah Njoku. Did you guys have any thoughts about this game?
No,
Oh, go ahead, Davis.
To comment on your Deshaun Watson analysis, it's ironic that he has a better line with the Browns, but his play is just horrible. But when he was in Houston, the biggest problem was the offensive line, and he was called the magician because he just made plays. I don't know if it's a mental thing or what. After all the allegations, the year suspension, but he has talent. It's not for a lack of talent on this roster. It's just maybe the play calling or just him as a quarterback. He's just not the same person he was 3 years ago. And that's quite sad if you think about it, because we were talking about Deshaun Watson, a possible MVP his rookie year, before he tore he tore his ACL. Even the years following, he was a top 3, top 4 quarterback, and to kind of see a decline more than anything is just appalling. I don't know. I know the Browns paid him with a hefty contract, but I don't know. It's interesting to see how far he's kind of fallen.
Yeah, so I agree. The Texans have gotten really lucky. Every now and then they'll draft a quarterback that'll take them to the playoffs out of nowhere when no one expects them to. But if you think about it, Deshaun Watson hasn't played a full season in 4 years now. So he leaves Texas. He leaves the Texans. He gets suspended for 16 games was it? He joins the Browns. He plays a couple games, which of course he's going to be rusty as shit. And then last year, this is what I don't understand, because last year he didn't play. He played 6 games last year, ended up 5-1 as a starter. So it looked like he was starting to coming back. He gets hurt, never quite recovers, and then comes back this season. If you just look at his face after some of these throws, he looks so lost and just like he has no idea what's going on. And I don't know if that's just more rust, if he's hurt still, or what's going on. Unless you're in a very deep league, I wouldn't touch him. I would probably pick up a backup before I pick him up. I would probably, I don't know. I mean, for me personally, he has a few games to kind of get his shit together. The next 4 weeks should be a lot easier for him. You're going against the Jags, the Giants, the Raiders, and the Commanders. So if there's any point to pull your head out of your ass, it's the whole next month worth of games.
Yeah, who made that schedule? Jesus, that's like the softest 4 weeks ever.
Yeah, and then they finally have a hard game against Philly. Oh yeah, and then it gets hard for almost a month. Philly, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and then Chargers, who are on the up and up before going into the bye week.
And just looking at the Giants on there, God, that team is terrible too. And we'll talk about them and start seeing them, but God. There are some bad teams in this league, guys. There are some, like, the ones in the bottom that are just really bad. It's just weird to see them up there.
Should we do it? Should I talk about one of the worst teams in football?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
All right, I'll make this quick. Vikings, Giants. The Giants' 100th year in the league. They went back to their 1924 outfits, which actually I didn't mind. I thought they looked good.
Too. I thought the people were criticizing. I thought they looked kind of cool, actually. I had no issue.
But Sam Darnold said, "Fuck you, your 100 years and your uniforms. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna make you see ghosts for a change." But yeah, I mean, god damn, I don't know why Daniel Jones still has a fucking job. This man irritates me every single play. To be fair, they started the game. They didn't look half bad. I think they had the one drive for the field goal. Okay, not terrible. They could have got the touchdown, but they didn't. But 22 for 42, 168 yards, or 186 yards, sorry. 2 interceptions. Holy shit. The run game is ass. They pick up Singletary like if that was supposed to be any sort of anywhere near what Saquon Barkley was doing. 10 for 37. If you have Singletary, I don't know why. Unless you're in our 20-man league, you don't need to touch him ever again. The only decent thing on this team, I guess a couple. I mean, if you're in deeper leagues, this will apply. Malik Neighbors had a decent debut. 5 for 66. Not bad. You didn't get a touchdown. Guess what? No one in that team's going to get one. Wandale Robinson didn't even look bad. 6 for 44. So, I mean, they have a little bit of talent on there, but Danny Dimes is not the guy to get you any sort of production. Like I said, if you're in a deep league, I would pick him up just because they are getting production. It's hard to say about a lot of other players. Yeah, I mean that's the Giants. Dumpster fire. They're in midseason form already. The Vikings, Sam Darnold looked all right. 19 for 24. He didn't throw a whole lot, but he didn't really have to either. 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. This is what surprised me the most. Aaron Jones. I wrote him off. I didn't think he was going to be anything anymore. 14 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. He still has it. I don't think this was a fluke. If they can lean on him, it'll take the pressure off Sam Darnold, and maybe they can get something going for a little bit. I mean, Sam Darnold's just a placeholder, but, I mean, they have a decent amount of talent. And then JJ and Jordan Addison, a little uneventful, not too bad. JJ, 459, 1 touchdown. Jordan Addison, 3 for 35. I know he was dealing with a little bit of an injury in the preseason, so we'll see how that carries on. But yeah, I mean, if you're worried about JJ or Jordan Addison, there's still going to be some production there. JJ is still going to be JJ. Jordan Addison's not going to get the same production, but he's still a low-end flex, especially in deeper leagues. Do you guys have anything to add to this shutout?
I think the Giants made a huge mistake getting rid of Saquon and sticking with Danny Dimes. It's like another dumpster fire of an organization. Ever since Eli, they haven't been the same, and I don't think they're going to be the same for a while. Sam Darnold actually looked pretty good.
Looked great.
In this offense. I, again, heavily relied on Aaron Jones as well, but when you have Justin Jefferson and the offense weapons surrounding him, I think he's set up to succeed, and I don't necessarily think they'll be a contender with either maybe the Packers or the Lions for the division, but I think they'll be a fun team to watch. I think Justin Jefferson will still put up numbers regardless of who's throwing to him, but they'll be one of those teams, again, they'll be interesting to watch how they progress moving forward.
You guys covered everything. I just want to say, and I bring this up every year, guys that are starting the year on injury reserve needs to be on your team. G.G. Hawkinson is a great tight end. He's currently on IR, but he should be back week 5 or 6. You're talking about a tight end that could be top 10-ish every time he plays. And Addison got hurt, so, Hawkins can take that role. Naylor looks pretty good. And I don't want to be the third guy to say this, but Darnold looked really good in this game, like you guys said. I think, I root for the guy. He kind of had a tough situation, the Jets. He looked good in Carolina, and I don't understand why they got rid of him there. And he actually looked good as your backup last year. So he was in the Niners. So he's not a bad player. I just think he was overdrafted. Yeah. But we'll see. Vikings are interesting moving forward for sure.
We can transition over to the Packers Eagles. I had that game. I'd probably say this was game of the week. Maybe the Lions Rams. We can also transition, but really close game here. Eagles able to squeeze it out 34-29. Saquon Barkley looked really, really good in this offense. 24 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, a pretty regular outing from him, just minus the 2 interceptions. Opposite end of the team here with Jordan Love. Pretty nasty injury. Thankfully no tears, but probably just a high ankle sprain, I think. I know a lot of people were saying MCL or ACL, something along those lines, but I think he got lucky with the injury. Josh Jacobs didn't look too bad in this offense, 16 for 84. Jaden Reed, 4 receptions, 138 yards and a touchdown. I believe he had a rushing touchdown as well. Overall, though, really, really close game. Both teams look pretty good. I would say, though, for the Eagles, I'm not too high on their defense. I know Devin White missed the flight for this game. But, yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the Eagles with Saquon and the new look?
That's as good as it's gonna get. The Giants, as we all know, fucked up. Like, if you're gonna trade your best player, why would it ever be to your division rival? The man who literally carried your offense for the last 2 years. He scored 10 out of the 15 touchdowns they had all last season. And you're gonna put him with one of the better offensive lines in the league? I mean, look at this shit. 3 Packers. He said, nah, I'm gonna go this way, and I'm just gonna keep going for a huge chunk. I mean, this is just a resurgence of a already great running back.
Look at that footwork, man. That's like one of one. You don't see too many players that can run like that. I know this isn't his touchdown, and that isn't none of his touchdowns. It's just a regular run.
Look at that. The awareness to avoid what looked like to be an open gap. Stop. Full send to the left. And then just take it for another, 25, 30 yards?
This is real analysis here, guys. This is Chain Gang. This is all 22 Chain Gang here. We're going to start giving you guys the Bill Belichick 5 o'clock in the morning stuff on ESPN.
Yeah, one thing that did pop out at me a little bit, though, the Eagles should give up on the touch push. That was nowhere nearly as good as it was with Jason Kelce. I don't think they have it anymore unless they bring it out maybe once every couple games as a surprise, but it is definitely not. It's not there anymore.
What do you guys think of Jaden Reed moving forward? Do you think it's a one-hit wonder, a one-off? Or would you buy into the performance here? I know it's hard to tell now that Jordan Love is out, but what do you guys think?
Personally, if you have him, I would stash him until Jordan Love's come back, because shoot, who is the backup for Green Bay?
Malik
Willis, I think.
Oh god, yeah, I would probably avoid Packers players for a couple weeks in general.
Rinse and refresh. Break up with stinky.
No, you know me, Davis. I drafted him in every single league. I even drafted him in your keeper league, Dynasty League for you. I'm a huge Jaden Reed guy. I have been since he was picked. They like getting the ball in his hands. But I agree with you, Sway. Certainly not when Malik Willis is playing. Now, the Packers' schedule, looking here, is really soft. We're hearing that Love may be back. You know, they play the Colts and the Titans. Not exactly barn burners on defense. And let's look at that Colts offense though in a minute, because that's exciting. But
we all make rookie
yeah, I mean,
mistakes,
if he's
especially
back by
when
like week 5, you know, if they're 2-2 or something like, you know, Billy Willis to win 2 games.
Fantasy football lineup, Phil attempted to bridge the
But I still think the Packers probably should have signed Tannehill. You know, he played with
right now. To a room full of
Matty LaFleur when he was on the Titans, so I would have probably signed Tannehill and the deal with Willis. But I do like Romeo Dobbs as well. I did drop him in a couple leagues because, you know, now with Love not out, but Love likes looking for Dobbs. So if he's in your free agency in a few weeks, I would pick him back up, because Watson is not a very good player and Wicks is horrendous. He had 3 terrible drops in this game. So it's not 4 guys, it's 2. It's Reed and Dobbs.
It's Nevada Wolfpack wide receiver right there, by the way.
Who, Dobbs?
Yeah.
I did not know that, actually. The Wicks is a UVA grad, so he can suck it.
That's fair. You did send me the injury. Did you want me to play that one?
Sure, if you guys want to see it again. It's pretty rough. I'm actually, now that we know that he's not permanently injured, that's okay, but yeah, his knee, that looked gross. I was worried. I was actually out at a bar with Packers fans watching this game. They were distraught. We were all excited to go watch a game on a Friday night. You know, they were okay with the loss. You know, it's their first game of the season. Who cares? Man, well, he got hurt, though. Yeah, it's rough. They're going to show in a second. On the replay, it'll actually give a close-up. Because if you watched it live, like, there wasn't much to see. You couldn't really see the angle, but they'll show it in a second. His knee kind of pops. Originally, we thought it was an ankle injury, but then you see this replay. Oof. You'll see with the left ankle. Yep. Yikes. Ay.
Yeah. I mean, very fortunate it turned out to be his MCL instead of ACL. Again, you kind of need all your ligaments, but as far as football goes, he definitely, we've seen some pretty bad knee injuries before, so yeah, I don't like him as a quarterback personally, but like, you still hate to see it for anybody. Then hopefully he can recover. Hopefully the Packers don't push him too fast to get back out there to save their season, because something like that, you just need to give it time.
I can do another quick one if you want. Just for kind of slowing down the Seahawks Broncos. Not much to say here. So, as far as the Broncos are concerned, you know, there was a lot of criticism of Bo Nix in college, and he's 24 years old, which is probably older than most of the people that are on Twitch right now. In fact, we know it is. He's older than both the starting quarterbacks in the Colts-Texans game, which is really fun. He's only like 3 years younger than Mahomes. Anyway, he looked really bad in this game. He had 3 passes that were over 10 yards. His second interception, which I sent you the video of, Sways, Adam Archuleta goes, "Oh no," when he releases the ball before we even see the ball go to the players. It's actually really funny. The Broncos defense was pretty good, and then they just sort of folded at the end. I want nobody on Denver, and I'll probably talk about the running back situation in a second. From Seattle's perspective, I liked Kenneth Walker all offseason. I thought he was prime for a breakout. He had a really good end of last season. Yeah, this is the interception. You guys got to watch this. This is so bad. Oh, by the way, the Seahawks throwback jerseys are so clean. I love the blue with the green.
I definitely like it better than their highlighter look.
Jesus.
What are you doing? Triple coverage.
So bad. Yeah, that was so forced.
What's up, Ray? Look, and I don't know if you can hear it on yours, Sways, but Adam Archuleta actually goes, "Oh no," before he throws before they show the players down there. Yeah, I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback. He did not throw it downfield in college. Oregon has a weird system. He's older and he's kind of set in his ways. We'll see. You know, I have Bo Nix in a dynasty league. I kind of wish I picked somebody else, but it's what it is. Seattle side, Kenneth Walker. Davis, one of these years, I will stop doubting Tyler Lockett. I do it every season. I don't pick him in any league, and he just produces. Oh, this Kenneth Walker tackle looked like a wrestling move. It looked like a Panama Sunrise. He gets foot on his head. And
He almost cleared him too. If he didn't wrap around his waist, he would have stayed up.
Insane. Walker did get hurt on this play, by the way. They're saying he's fine. I think he'll be fine next week. If Zach Charbonnet is in free agency, go ahead and grab him. Geno Smith did not have a very good game. I know he had 171 yards and a rushing touchdown, but he was not very good here. I don't know if it's the Broncos defense or what, but he's kind of struggling this last year in a day, in a game. I know the whole write thing off, I didn't write back thing. Whatever, man. It looks just like 1 year so far. But that said, Javonte Williams, 8 carries, 23 yards. And I'll pass it over to Davis on that one. Go ahead, Davis.
He had that one dream year, and that was about it. Not even a year, I would say like maybe a 6-game stretch where he was very clutch, and then nobody wants to give him the ball anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sean McVay's always had more of a passing offense anyways. I think he got spoiled with Drew Brees and forgot what a running back looked like.
I mean, he had Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara at one point. When Brees was punting the ball down the field, it seemed like, because he didn't have enough zip on the ball. Like, I don't know. I just think in general, the running back position is just completely worthless at this point. It's just plug and chug, whoever's next man up. Besides a few teams like maybe the Niners in Seattle, and maybe the Ravens to an extent, but they have Lamar. But around the league, I just don't see. There's maybe 4 running backs. Let's say Saquon, Kenneth Walker, CMC, and then
Brees Hall and Bijan. That's who I'd say.
Yeah, and that's it. That's literally a 5 out of what?
32.
32. That's pathetic.
He's some second tier type. James Cook is okay, but again, like you're saying, those are all okay guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, running back wise, they may not be the greatest, but they hold value elsewhere in the game, acting as blockers or receivers themselves. Let me talk about the Steelers-Falcons real quick. Huge, exciting game. Chris Boswell, the GOAT. 6 field goals. 57, 51, 44, 56, 40, and topped it off with the 25. That man does not get tired. Justin Fields, we touched on it earlier, a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I won't harp on that again. Kirk Cousins seemed to struggle a little bit, which I don't want to say is solely Kirk Cousins, because the Steelers' defense is a really tough matchup against most teams in the league. So I won't bust his balls too much for that, especially with the new offense, new everything. But he still went 16 for 26, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, but the 2 interceptions is what killed him. TJ Watt, you just can't ever sleep on him. A few things that did stand out for me. I'm not going to talk about Najee Harris because I hate him. Jalen Warren got overshadowed for whatever reasons. Pickens is still Pickens, 6 for 85. And then Freiermuth, again, the position's so shallow, there's really not much upside, 4 for 27. Bijan is finally back. For everyone who struggled like I did in one of my leagues. 18 rushes, 68 yards, not too great, but he's still getting incorporated in the pass game, 5 for 43, so he still will get you your value, and it's just going to go up as Kirk Cousins gets more settled into this offense. The receiving core, this one threw me off a little bit. Drake London went very quiet game, 2 for 15. The star of this week was Ray McCloud, 5 for 52, picked up when the Niners let him go. So that one threw me off a little bit. Darnell Mooney's on this offense for whatever reason. 1 for 15. That one kind of pissed me off. Kyle Pitts. Just careful optimism. I don't even want to call it that anymore. He's getting the ball now. 3 for 26 with the Falcons' only touchdown. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Russell Wilson's going to be out for, but as long as as Justin Fields gets to go, this team will just continuously improve. Russell Wilson doesn't have to play another snap. He's getting paid by the Broncos, and he's still getting his veteran minimum, so there's no really any rush for him to come back. Yeah, is there anything else that stood out for you guys?
No, I think moving forward this is probably Fields' team, or Fields' job to lose. I don't think we see Russ this season unless Fields is even worse than how he played on the Bears, which I don't think is possible. He did look decent this game, but I don't know. Opposite side of the ball, I kind of expected more from Kirk Cousins. I don't know. With all the offensive weapons they have in Atlanta, I really did expect more from this team. But I mean, they still got the win, but it wasn't impressive, I would say.
What was impressive was all these throws that Justin Fields can make, but not Caleb Williams.
So I will say something, and I do one thing Justin Fields does do well, especially for fantasy wise. He really targets number one wide receiver. Like DJ Moore last year, it's a funnel because he doesn't look at a second guy ever, and that's my criticism. But if you have Pickens, which I have in a couple of leagues, I'm playing him now because Fields really will hone in. Cousins, I'm such a junkie. I was watching a lot of his stuff earlier. He's not setting his right foot, guys, so I think it's still the Achilles. I don't know, he's probably not fully healthy yet. But man, it's the NFL. It's not for long. You got to figure that out pretty quickly. So he did not look good in this game, like you guys said. I'm not going to harp on it. And I'm happy you brought up Kyle Pitts. I'm sure you guys drafted him every league again. We all fell for it again. We're rewarded this time. I would sell if I had him, because I'm done with Kyle Pitts. But if I understand the position's shallow, I would not keep Kyle Pitts. If somebody's like, "Oh my God, he got a touchdown," and tries to get something from you, I would try to get him. Oh, Drake London, though, like you said, ooh, better days ahead. Yeah, not much else to say here. I'm looking at the Steelers' schedule, though. I'm curious. Denver Chargers. They could get on a nice little run here early on. The Steelers could, kind of did last year, because their schedule was soft to start the season. Wouldn't surprise me if they started, 3-1, ending in Dallas.
I mean, honestly, with their defense, I could see an upset in Dallas, or it's in Pittsburgh, so I could definitely see an upset on that one. By then, all teams will be pretty comfortable with where they're at. So,
well, she brought up Baker Mayfield. You want to talk about that Bucs game?
Dude, Baker Mayfield's having fun. I am so happy for him. I'm glad he got out of Cleveland, and he's just enjoying his life now.
I am too. He was fantastic in this game, guys. He is completely resurged. He has helped out the entire team. 24 of 30, 289, 4 touchdowns. But if you watch this game, he had this touchdown pass to Evans. Evans made this great catch. I put the link in there. But he was fantastic in this game. And I think he's a low-end QB1 until otherwise, because he's feeding Evans. Godwin is still there. They still have weapons. But, man, fun to watch. That Bucs team is entertaining, and I'm happy for him too. He had some big runs to get 30 yards rushing. So this catch is insane. I mean, Mike Evans is 55 years old. This is ridiculous. And the throw, he threw him open. It's crazy.
The thing that really surprised me about this game, real quick, is. Yeah, we all know what Mike Evans did, but Chris Godwin had a hell of a game, too.
He's good. I mean, 24, 30, 289. He was probably the best quarterback yesterday. the entire NFL. Yeah, so I'd start him in fantasy if I had him. You know, certainly if you draft him as a backup and you have like Jordan Love, you're sitting pretty right now. From a running back perspective on the Bucks, Rashad White, I've never been a fan of him personally. I think he gets stats 15 to 31. He did have 6 catches for 75. But if Bucky Irving is in free agency, he is the second running back that was drafted in this NFL draft. I have him in pretty much every league, so if you're not in my leagues, you can forget about it. But if you have another league and Bucky Irving is out there, please grab him because he was the second running back drafted in this draft. Commander's perspective, Jane Daniels looks the part, certainly. 88 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, kind of, Lamar-esque. He's a little smaller than Lamar, though. I noticed when he was playing, he's kind of a little bit... Lamar is actually tall. Daniels is kind of short, so... Oh, you have Love? Well, that worked out, then. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, for sure. Carr just beat up a bad Panthers team. We'll see about that moving forward. The one thing I worry about with Daniels is, I have been a Terry McLaurin fan. I gave up before this year. I'm happy he did. Daniels, 24 attempts, 6 were to wide receivers, and they only had a high of 17 yards. So, wouldn't play any wide receivers in the team. I would play Brian Robinson and Daniels, though, if I was playing anybody. The Commanders' defense is dreadful. So, if your team is playing against Commanders, you are going to get some points that week. Did you guys see anything from this game, aside from what I mentioned?
The only thing that stood out to
Baker
me...
looked really good.
What was that, Deuce?
Yeah, I'd say Baker looked really good. He had 37 fantasy points this week. Moving forward, I'd probably, if you have Jordan Love and you need a serviceable backup, I'd say Baker's your guy.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch,
What about truck driver contracts?
which means a new HR.
The only thing I was saying, I like how Jaden Down, he's squirrely right now, so I just hope he kind of brings it in a little bit. Because I don't know if you guys saw how many times his helmet got knocked off in yesterday's game, but that's definitely real dangerous. It actually negated one of his touchdowns.
Terms and conditions apply.
Oof.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch,
What about truck driver contracts?
which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need.
What other games do we have that we not? I think I caught on mine. Let's see here.
We can do the Cincy game versus the Patriots.
Because Yoda's here, so he can comment on it too. We got.
Credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job.
What was it, Gerard Mayo's first win as head football coach of the New England Patriots?
Spooky cupcakes.
Historically, the Bengals have been 1-4 the last 5 seasons. On opening day, again, Jamar Chase out. Jamar Chase didn't really play or participate in any OTAs, any training camps. Just had this 1 week of practice before the game. T. Higgins also out this game. Joe Burrow, I don't know what this man's doing with his hair. The Bengals are a mess. They've always been a mess leading into the season. And it kind of showed in this game. Even though Burrow was pretty efficient, 21 for 29, only 164 yards passing. I think they missed Joe Mixon in this.
Oh yeah.
Zach Moss and Chase Brown, their backups, look decent, but I don't like any of them moving forward. I think they should have kept Joe Mixon more as one of their as an acquisition, or not an acquisition, but just keeping Joe Mixon in general. They look really messy right now, and I'm not really sure what to make of the Bengals. Again, it is the first week, and they usually get hot mid-season, but I don't know. I'm not too high on the Bengals right now, but obviously things can change once they start hitting their stride. Opposite end of the ball, though, Ramondre Stevenson, 25 for 120 and a touchdown, looked really good. Jacoby Brissett, I'm surprised this man was still in the league, but he squeaked it out 15 for 24, 121 yards. He looked really good. Overall, from a fantasy perspective, I would not pick up anybody on the Patriots besides Ramondre Stevenson. None of the wide receivers from the Patriots look serviceable to me. Not even a wide receiver 3 or 4. Jacoby Brissett, maybe just start him as a waiver wire addition, but
You got to be really desperate for him.
yeah, unless we're in that 20-man league, you might have to start Jacoby one of these weeks.
I'm just going to say, there's a lot of quarterbacks that play for their job. Jacoby Brissett looked like he was playing for his fucking life out there. That man was... He was not comfortable, but he didn't look bad either. And the only other thing, I think he's going to be overlooked a little bit still. Kendrick Bourne is still injured, so I mean, if you have a spot in your IR, especially in slightly deeper leagues, he's also one that's worth a pickup just to stash him. Because as time goes on, he was a wide receiver number 1. He was having a career year last year before he got hurt. Just something. If you got the space, just keep an eye on him.
Yeah, and just adding to that too, Jalen Polk got a lot of hype in the offseason. He was their second-round pick. He certainly looks the part. I don't know really about this year. If you have space and you're a maniac like I am, you could throw him at the end of the bench. But yeah, the passing game is a mess. And guys, I feel like all 3 years we talk about this in Cincinnati. Like you said, September is just not their month, and they play Kansas City next week. They're probably, you know what's funny? They probably will win that game against Kansas City and then lose the next 2 and against the Commanders and the Panthers, because they're a weird team every September. I don't know what it is with Cincinnati, but you're playing with fire. You're eventually gonna get burned. Oof. What do we got left? Have we done Texans?
No, that was mine. Yeah, Texans Colts. I thought this was one of the better games yesterday. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. You had the two best quarterbacks from last year's draft going head to head again. Anthony Richardson, pretty much a little rusty at first, but once he started getting a little bit of groove, started running again, he definitely looked like himself from last season. Texans ended up squeaking this one by 29-27. Handed the Colts their 11th year in a row straight opening day loss. So that was a fun little stat for you. Stroud, he just picked up where he left off yesterday. Or not yesterday, last year. I didn't even write down his stats, but oh yeah, I did. He went 24 for 32, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, just a clean game overall. And I know we talked about him, Joe Mixon. He just fucking I didn't expect anything from him, honestly. I wasn't sold on him with the Bengals, but they were a pass heavy team. Texans don't have that problem at all. 30 rushes for 159 yards and a touchdown. And then 3 receptions for 19 yards. He's just... I know we were talking about bad running backs and how there's only a couple good ones. Joe Mixon's on this game alone, kind of on the cusp of one of the top 5, if not top 5 so far. I know we were talking about too many mouths to feed. CJ Stroud doesn't have that problem. Nico Collins, 6 for 117. Tank Dell had the low light, but still got 3 receptions for 40 yards. Stephon Diggs, I know we all had a lot of questions about him. A lot of people didn't want to draft him because of that reason. So he fell in a lot of people's laps. 6 receptions, 33 yards, so he's not getting very far, but he saw the touchdown. I feel like as CJ Stroud gets comfortable with them throughout the season, that production is definitely going to go up. So if you got them, I would still, as of now, low end flex, depending on your league, how deep it is. But definitely someone to keep an eye out for. Nico Collins, just a beast as always. And then Tank Dell will get a lot more production if anything happens to anybody else. Let me see. Oh yeah, Anthony Richardson. Personally, one of my favorite quarterbacks in a while. Big dude. Not afraid to throw his weight around, but definitely not as athletic as Lamar Jackson, which I kind of like. He's just more like a power back who has an arm. He went 9 for 19 for 212 yards. He had 2 touchdowns himself, but 1 interception, which kind of push come shove, kind of thwarted them near the end. 6 rushes, 56 yards. Like I said, when the goings get tough, Richardson's not afraid to put his head down and go forward. Jonathan Taylor, a really quiet game this yesterday. 16 attempts for 48 yards. He did have the 1 touchdown, which definitely saved his fantasy day. But let me talk about what could be the new number 1 wide receiver in Indianapolis. Alec Pierce. This man, who barely existed last season, had 3 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown. Like, it feels like Anthony Richardson, if he ever made a long bomb, it was just to Alec Pierce. I saw him miss a lot of throws, but Alec Pierce was always just right there. Michael Pittman, 4 for 31, definitely a quiet day. That'll probably change as the season goes on, but damn. It might be a fluke. It might not be Alec Pierce. Remember the name. There's definitely not many other people to throw to on the Colts offense. So, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I think, yeah, this was one of my favorite games yesterday.
I think you're underselling the touchdown. I throw the link in there. That thing is Richardson just bombed this, and this guy is like you said. I don't even think there's a player like this in the league, and he's kind of like at that Josh Allen, Cam Newton thing where it's just sometimes. I mean, it's a roller coaster, but God, is it entertaining to watch. I'm with you on Pierce. I think was it you last year that was really big on Josh Downs, right? Oh, here's this is Mixon, who I do agree with, was crushing people. Oh no, this is just Razzle Dazzle play. I just want to throw this in there. But if they fell for it because Mixon had like 150 yards at this point, so they were taking the bait. But the Richardson touchdown, guys, he's falling backwards on this play. Like he slips, and then just puts it right over his shoulder. This is ridiculous. He slips right here. He's falling back, so he's at the 31-yard line. That's a fucking bomb. Like what? Double coverage.
Yeah, he just put it over him.
That's insane. Colts got a good one. And reminder, these 2 quarterbacks were picked after Bryce Young. But I mean, I digress. Yeah, you covered everything. I have nothing else to add. Anything you want to add, Davis?
No, it was like Swayze had mentioned, pretty entertaining game. I think these 2 teams probably battle it out to win the division. Texans definitely will make the playoffs. They're a great team to watch. I think they've gotten even better. It's going to be interesting to see how CJ Stroud progresses throughout the season as well.
CJ Stroud, my only concern is he's another quarterback with a horrendous offensive line. If the Texans don't do anything about that relatively soon, they're going to put a lot of premature wear and tear on him.
Yeah. It'll be the same it'll be like a Deshaun Watson situation more than anything. But I don't think Stroud will be. I don't know. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders and won't do anything stupid, any off the field issues. But I think he's mobile enough to avoid the contact and make plays with his legs when he needs to. We can have an over to Sunday night game yesterday. The Los Angeles Rams traveled to Detroit to face the Lions. Matthew Stafford, homecoming game for him. He looked pretty good in this game, wheeling and dealing. 34 for 49, 317 yards, touchdown. Did have that one interception. Kyron Williams, not a bad game. 18 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp. With the Puka Nacua injury, 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. He looked just like he was a couple of years ago. Even with Puka being out, Cooper Kupp is the guy on this offense. And with Puka coming back maybe within a few weeks or so, depending on the severity of his injury, if anybody wants to comment on what actually happened, feel free to, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But
it was neat. It was a
Rams offense-
PTO. He got like tackled kind of low. It was kind of weird though. It didn't look that bad, but it's football, so.
Yeah. Opposite end of the ball, this running attack with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery was lethal in this game. Big shout out to the Lions head coach for sticking with the run game. When you're averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry, do not stop running the ball. And that's what they did, and that's what eventually won them the game. David Montgomery with the run at the end to win it in overtime. Jared Goff, not a bad outing, 18 for 28, 217 yards and a touchdown. Jameson Williams, though, 5 receptions, 121 yards and a touchdown. Really good game from him. Interesting to see Amon-Ra St. Brown, only 3 catches for 13 yards. What'd you guys think of that? Concerning or not for Sun God here?
No, the man's too good. I think it was more like situational football. I know we talked about Jameson Williams last year. Here's a couple of his highlights. I was a season early with him. I do think he shows a lot of promise this season. But there's no one can outdo the Sun God. I mean, he just finds a way. If it's not Amon-Ra, it's probably going to be Jameson Williams this season.
Here's the touchdown. Yeah, this is a great throw by Goff, by the way. Now, of course, he's wide open, but, well, I guess it would have been behind him, but still, interesting coverage. Is he open? I think so.
I mean, he just found it every time.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the Sun God either. I'm kind of biased, though. I love the player, Davis, so he's won me a couple fantasy leagues, especially as a rookie. I think it was just game flow. Just want to add one thing. You mentioned Puka's injury. Tyler Johnson, his stat line, like 579, okay,
Spin cycle.
whatever, he's the new number 2, but this guy was really hyped up by Brady as a rookie. He was on the Bucs team when Godwin and Evans got hurt. He was kind of the guy when he was a rookie.
Lifesavers gummies.
So I think there's talent here, and I believe in what Sean McVay does. He's so good on developing wide receivers. I've never seen a coach that can develop wide receivers and quarterbacks like he can. I kind of buy this as a really sneaky pick if you have space in the end of your bench. Obviously, losing Puka sucks if you have him, but this guy could be a wide receiver 4, and those are the kind of players that can win you a league. So I would pick up Tyler Johnson. Tom Brady may suck as a commentator, and I thought he was terrible, by the way. I forgot to bring up that during the Browns game. He was really bad at that. But he is a very good quarterback, and I trust his ability to catch a wide receiver. No pun intended. Space?
Yeah, I think you guys said it all. Yeah, I don't really have much. I only ended up watching half this game. I definitely crashed out early, but it was definitely entertaining for that first half.
Should we do Pigskin Pick'em? I think that covers every game, right?
Yeah, bringing it back.
We got to. I'll send the link back out. We never got a winner last year, I think, because we sort of ended early. We can try that again, though.
I think Yoda probably had the most points before we ended up before we end up putting it on pause. I still have your prize, Yoda. If you're still here, just let me know and I can send that out to you at some point. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Pick'em's definitely fun.
There it is. Standard. Choose just the groups. All right, I'll create the group again. But Pigskin Pick'em. All right, we'll do a normal thing where I go in order. The first game of the week this week is on Thursday. It is the Buffalo Bills traveling to Miami Dolphins, possibly without Achane and Mostert. Sways, who you got?
Shoot. Where are they playing at?
It's in Miami.
In Miami. I think it's going to get a little too hot for Allen this game, especially with their non-existent defense now.
At 9 o'clock? Well, okay.
You ever been to Miami?
That's true. But no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have... I think it's going to be more of a shootout, but I think Miami's going to edge them out.
You made it sound hot. I don't think there'll be any edging. But I'll take the Bills.
Pause.
Who you got, Davis? Who you got, David?
I'll take the Bills in this one.
I would have taken the Dolphins, by the way, no joke, if Achane was playing, but without the running game.
I mean, Wilson's not bad. All three of those running backs it's a three-headed monster in the backfield. But I don't know. The Bills played pretty well. I'll take the Bills.
I'm serious, by the way, about your waiver claims, guys. White should be picked up. Jalen Wright is a really interesting option now. So Jalen Wright needs to be owned. And, you hate that position, he might be the starting running back on a team that's going to freaking give him the ball in space. So, could do worse. Niners and Vikings, my turn. I will take the Niners on the road. Yes. I don't think Sam Darnold revenge game is a real thing. Sorry, guys. Davis?
Same. I'll take the Niners. Seems he should be back as well.
Sweeping it?
Yeah, I think they're going to have Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again.
Forgot about that. All right, Davis, you're up. Seahawks at Patriots. It is in New England. It's a 1 o'clock start for the Seahawks. Road.
I will take the Seahawks.
All right. Sways?
Seahawks and Patriots. As much as it would be cool for an upset, the Patriots just kind of stalled a little bit too much on offense last game for them to win this one. I'm gonna have to go with the Seahawks.
I think that's valid. I'm going to go different here. I think the Patriots win at home. I just think the 1 o'clock start is going to hurt the Seahawks a little bit more. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I believe in Yoda's Patriots in this particular game. I thought this defense was going to be really good before the season. They looked like it, so. Or maybe it was just the Bengals. We'll find out. All right, Sways, you get to pick the game of the weekend. The New York Giants travel to about 20 minutes away from me to face the terrible Washington Commanders. Who you got?
Oh, God. I don't think I can ever go for the Giants this season, so I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think Jaden Williams actually has a good game this week.
Yeah, Daniels looks like a star. I agree. Davis, who you got?
I think the Giants go 0-16 this season. Go with the Commanders. Oh, by the way, player to watch, Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah, he looks pretty good, actually.
He did have some flashes last game.
Luke McCaffrey, player to watch, headed later down the season.
Would you say he's a lukewarm McCaffrey in that family?
All right, Sways.
But the question is, does he have a command of the offense yet? All right. That's good. Chargers at Panthers. I will not take my terrible Panthers. Bryce Young's time is running out as starting quarterback before Andy Dalton takes over. Davis, who you got? Chargers or Panthers?
I think Chargers win big. I think this is like an embarrassment of a game.
Sways?
We said Chargers and who?
Panthers?
Oh yeah. Probably. I think Panthers are playing for the number 1 draft pick again.
Yeah.
Wait, how long has Bryce Young been in the league? 1 year, 2 years?
This
is
only
his
his
second year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be time to cut the cord on that.
He'll get at least half the season, and then they'll put because other players have to keep their job too. So, Saints to Cowboys. It is in Dallas. There is no Jake Ferguson for this game. Davis, who you got?
I'll take the Cowboys.
Okay. So we're at the lines. Just so you know, I forgot to do this earlier. I know that's my tradition is to tell you the lines. The Cowboys are favored by 6.5. Who you got, Sways?
I guess I have to pick Dallas. I think Michael Parsons just gives Derek Carr too much issues.
Sweep that one too. We got a lot of sweeps so far. But if you're wondering on the Panthers game, that line is also 6.5. That'll be more than that anyway. Additionally, we have in Europe for this one. Just wait. The Colts at the Packers. No Jordan Love in this game. The Colts are actually favored by 3.5. Who you got?
Yeah, I would go with the Colts. It'd be more competitive if it wasn't Malik Willis under helm.
I think the Packers will find a way in this game. I think their defense is actually pretty good. I was impressed last week. Who you got, Davis? Are you gonna go with me, the Packers, or are you on the Malik Willis bandwagon?
It's the Packers and who? The Colts?
The Colts at Green Bay. Yeah.
I'll take the Colts.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hop on the Malik bandwagon just yet.
My turn. The Browns, the Jaguars. I am hating this game, but I'm going to take the Jaguars at home. I'll check the line in a second. Who you got, Davis?
I'll take the Jags.
We are not in the Deshaun Watson train. The Jaguars are favored by 3.5. Who you got, Sways?
It's in Jacksonville.
Some bad games this week, guys. I'm going to be honest, it's only week 2, but some of these can feel kind of rough.
Yeah, this isn't very pretty. I call dibs on not this game next week. Shit. I guess Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they just have more talent on that team.
Yep. All right. Your turn, Davis. It is the New York Football Jets against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. The Jets are actually favored by 4.
I'll take the Jets. I think they bounce back in this game.
There are so many bad quarterbacks in this league, guys. I'm just throwing that out there to go through these. God, Will Levis. Sways, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets. Today wasn't a good sample of what I think they're gonna be able to accomplish this year.
I'm going to take the Titans. I actually don't believe in the Jets team. I've said it a few times. I don't think they're a very good team. And I don't like Aaron Rodgers anymore. I don't think he's a good player. So, hey there's EE.
Yo, what up, E?
Okay, next game for the pick'em, we got the Bucks and the Lions. The line has the Lions are favored by 7 at home. Really? I think the Bucks cover, but I will take the Lions in this game. Who you got, Davis?
I'll take the Lions as well. I think this is a fairly close game.
Yeah, I don't. What's touchdown? I wasn't surprised the Bucks won this game. Sways?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think Baker Mayfield feels good about how he's been performing lately. I think the Bucks could upset him this week.
So you got it? You
Yeah,
doing it?
yeah, I'll do the Bucks this week.
Oh, you got it. He's doing it. He's doing the upset. All right. A couple more games here, guys. Davis, you're up. The Raiders travel to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Ravens probably favored. They are by 9.5. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 points. Who you got?
I'll take the Ravens. I'll take the spread on that too.
Sways?
I don't know. This could be a pretty close one, but I guess the Ravens.
I will take the Raiders to cover. I don't think they 9.5 is a lot of points. But I will take the Ravens. I just think the Raiders defense is good enough, but it is a 1 o'clock game. I'm not gonna take myself out of it. All right, Sways, you're up. The Puka Nacua Los Angeles Rams travel to Arizona to face the Cardinals at 4 o'clock. Who you got?
See, this, you guys probably won't like this one, but division games can go either way. I kind of like the sample I saw from Arizona this week. And I think, especially without Puka Nacua, I think the Cardinals have a solid chance of winning this one.
So does Vegas. They actually have him favored. So they actually have him favored by a point. I don't agree with you or Vegas. I think the Rams win this game, even without Puka Nacua. And I think the Rams defense is pretty good. I think they bounce back this week. Davis? Split the tie. Break the tie.
I'll take the Rams. I think they bounce back as well.
All right, we got a couple more games here. My turn. The Steelers travel to Denver. Oh God. Steelers are favored by 3. I will actually take. I'll take Denver at home. I don't really know why. I feel like Bo Nix has a better game this game. I just don't believe in the Steelers' offense, so I will be weird and take the Broncos here. But I'm not confident in it. Davis?
It's the Broncos and who?
Steelers in Denver.
So I'll take the Steelers, actually. I think they'll squeeze it out.
Sways? Do Justin Fields love? Does it keep going?
Well, when is Russell Wilson expected to come back?
He probably won't play now because Fields won. So
I mean, I'm gonna ride the Fields wagon just a little longer, and essentially until they lose.
Okay. Fair enough. I am alone with my Broncos. God, I really don't like betting on Bo Nix, but whatever. The Chicago Bears travel to Houston to face the Texans. And Davis, you're up first. Who you got? Your terrible Chicago Bears or the Houston Texans?
In CJ we trust, ma.
Come on,
Caleb is not ready. No way.
Yeah, I know Russ is one of your ride or dies, but it's over, man. It's been over. That was 3 years ago. He's done. He's cooked. Do you think the Bears cover the 6.5 or no?
No. I think this could be a blowout, to be honest.
All right. Sways, we got Bears and Texans.
I mean, if Justin Fields was on the Bears, I'd say Bears, but
Okay.
CJ's too good. Fields is in his prime, all right? This man is about to take off in his career.
I do want to say something. The Bears defense is way better than Texas defense. The Bears actually were really, really good. They're probably one of the 5 best defenses in the NFL. Montez Sweat is a really good player. That said, I can't pick the Bears yet, but I want to. I'm just not going to do it yet. And Monday Night Football next week. Sways are up first. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Philly to face the Eagles. Philly is a huge favorite at minus 298. Jesus. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, there's the NFC East. Their 2 best teams there know how to bully bad teams. So, I actually don't think this will be a blowout. I think Kirk Cousins kind of gets a little bit more into the groove, but I think Philly definitely takes it.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I created the Chain Gang League, by the way. I think that my problem is Cousins is definitely still hurt, right? So I don't think this game would be more interesting if he wasn't hurt, but he's just not healthy. Davis, does he want to sweep it?
Let's sweep it.
All right, so that covers all of week 2. Our sweeps are, we all have the 49ers beating the Vikings, the Commanders beating the Giants, the Chargers beating the Panthers, Cowboys versus Saints, Jaguars beating the Browns, Ravens versus Raiders, and the Texans and the Eagles winning. God, that's a lot of sweeps. So we could get caught here. I made the link. I posted it in the chat if you guys want to join it. We will give a reward. I have a gift card for you, Yoda, so I have whatever Sways gives you as well. But yeah, this is I appreciate this Chain Gang return.
Yeah, tell your mama, tell your friends, we're back. Trying to get that big contract, like I said, that no one heard at the beginning of the podcast, because I don't know how to stream, as you can tell by my faceless non-existence. But yeah, as always, yeah, so I could buy another camera. Yeah, as always, it'll probably be a Monday thing. Probably be a little earlier next week because I don't have to work.
Welcome to the 501st.
Nice. Thanks for the follow, E. But yeah, as always, we've been Chain Gang. Sway Zombie. With me as always, Davis in the cut. Big Matty Kane. Make sure you join your pick'ems. Absolutely free. Nothing to lose. All the prizes to gain. And, bragging rights. Top player gets something. Me, Matty, and Davis do not count. We're just playing for fun. But, yeah, we'll see you guys again next week. Thanks for coming out.